Ace's Wild, I Ain't Your Father, Episode 4.
Well, I'm still riled up from that bear attack, y'all. And honey, oh God, please tell me he's going to get her help real quick.
It grew late in the afternoon when they made it to town. The first glimpse proved Chance wasn't a liar about at least one thing. This place was a mess. The buildings shone, coated with fresh paint, but then they also had broken windows and bullet holes. The whole place was an oxymoron in itself. Beggars adorned the streets. Litter blew everywhere in the wind. That now familiar stench of opium wafted on the air, ever present too. Patrons nodded off on benches. Many of the businesses had painted "closed" in large print across the whole storefront. The courthouse was boarded shut, and in front, across the once beautiful cobblestone street, "McGregor was here" had been scrolled out in faded chalk. Chase eventually found the veterinarians, also boarded up and empty. Looking through cracks in the storefront, he noticed a light in the back. Circling the building, there seemed to be attached living quarters. It took some beating on the door before a man named Barney Bricks finally answered. He was a lengthy man with sun-worn, leathery skin. It looked as if he hadn't shaved in days. He seemed in need of a good meal and a bath.
Hey, you the owner of the place?
Yeah, and I ain't got nothing left. You get out of here,
said Barney, attempting to slam the door. Chase managed to wedge his foot in there just in time.
My dog's been attacked by a bear.
A bear? Where is he?
He asked with a sudden new tone of genuine worry.
Bring him here, quickly now.
Chase called Honey, and she limped her way from Nessie around to the back of the building. Barney rolled her over and gave her a good look. He clearly had a better temperament towards animals than people.
Oh, no, this don't look too bad. What's your name there, little pup?
Her name's Honey.
Oh, Honey, and a sweet thing she is. I see she's already had some tending. You do this yourself?
Yes, sir. Something I learned in the war.
Oh, fighting for old Dixie, huh?
No, sir. I was with the North.
The North,
he mumbled, demeanor changing once more. Hunching over, he solely focused on the dog now.
Look here, I'll tend to your friend, but you gotta wait outside. I'll give a whistle when I'm done, and you'll be on your way. The way that'll lead you far from this place if you know what's best for you.
Not knowing if that was a threat or a warning, Chase stepped outside and sat on the front stoop. He started to play a little tune on his harmonica, but that didn't last long. Catching the eyes of a lot of vagabonds, he looked for a better place to mull. His eyes settled on a steeple across the way. It was mostly cold and dark inside the stone church, but some light shined through the splits of boarded-up windows. One of the rays, ironically, struck the cross-adorned pulpit that was once used for Sunday service. For a fleeting moment, Chase wondered if something brought him there, but he pushed that thought aside. Chase didn't spend much time pondering life's meaning. Too often those thoughts led to memories, and memories led to flashbacks, and flashbacks led to visions best left buried deep. Figuring the place was empty, Chase relaxed and kicked his feet up on a pew, wondering whether or not taking a swig from his flask would be sacrilege in an abandoned church. Then he heard a voice making him nearly jump out of his skin.
You want to take your boots off my pew there, son?
Standing there tall was a balding fellow dressed in all black, missing only the white collar. Hanging onto a broom, he started sweeping back and forth. The dust became illuminated in the sun's rays as he did.
Sorry, Father. I thought the place was empty.
I ain't your father, son. You can call me Brian.
Chase sat there, puzzled by the statement.
Your feet,
he ordered once more.
Sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect. I thought the place was abandoned.
Abandoned? Granted, she don't shine like she once did, but I do my best to keep her up.
You still have service here?
No, not service, but I ring the bell on Sunday, and every once in a while a soul wanders in looking for grace.
So you were the preacher here?
I spoke,
was all the man said in return.
So what brings you in?
I'm waiting on Mr. Briggs. He's tending to my dog.
Oh, Mr. Briggs. Good man, good man. I ain't seen you around here before. I don't believe you're local. Seems a strange place to bring your dog in for a checkup.
Well, we were traveling and had a run-in with a bear.
A bear? She's okay, I hope.
Yeah, she'll survive. She's seen some days in her time.
I got the feeling you both have.
Brian said, still digging for more, now leaning on the broom.
So once again, what brings you in?
I'm waiting on my dog. Didn't I just say that?
Oh, yeah, the dog. Well, as long as you're waiting, how about sharing a swig?
Chase looked down at his hands, realizing he was still holding his flask. Then, half cross-eyed and confused, he looked up at the man.
There's nothing wrong with it, as long as you keep your wits about you. Besides, it gets chilly within these stone walls.
What a strange man.
Chase began to think as he handed him the flask.
You know, a lot of fellows find themselves in here when they're traveling the wrong path.
Brian was looking Chase square in the eyes now, implying that there was some deeper meaning to him arriving in the church.
Am I getting a sermon from a man drinking my hooch in an abandoned church?
Just then, there was a whistle in the distance.
That'll be Mr. Briggs. Your dog's all patched up.
He said, handing the flask back. Walking away, Brian had one more piece of parting wisdom for Chase.
And don't you go hunting down that one that done you wrong. Revenge is a nasty thing.
Well, the bear's done dead, and it was more of a self-defense than revenge.
I'm not talking about the bear, son.
He said, glancing back. Baffled, Chase got up and walked away. He was no stranger to church, being a regular Sunday goer before the war. But this was the strangest church experience he'd ever had. Once across the street, Chase and Barney exchanged a few words. He tried to pay the man, but he wouldn't take payment.
Honey's company was payment enough. You take care of her. Change the dressings every few days till they close. And get out of Copperton if you know what's good for you.
Turning towards town, Chase was dumbfounded once more. Pulling out his flask, he realized that it was now mostly empty.
I hope the saloon's still open.
The Solace Saloon, read the sign, and it was indeed open. In fact, it remained the only place in town with doors swinging. Half the town must have been to and fro, probably trying to drown their sorrows, having lost sight of Chance's footsteps when they hit the streets of the town. Chase decided to take an assessment of the place before heading in. If Chance was in the saloon, he didn't want to barge in on him unknowingly. Leashing Honey and hitching Nessie down the street, he proceeded cautiously back toward the saloon. Circling the large establishment, Chase scouted the area. It appeared an impressive saloon, and obviously, it once thrived with hobnobbery. Seemingly, though, most of that class left town, Chase was amazed the place could keep open with the riffraff that stayed behind. Though a walkabout gave clue to the apparent success. There it wafted again, pouring out a wooden shack in the alley, opium stench. Stumbling back and forth, people moved between the shack and saloon, most of them looking like they just spent their last cent in the den. Just a few days ago, Chase had never before smelt or dealt with opium. He only ever heard rumors of kicking the gong from the Orient. Now, it seemed to be spreading everywhere. Making note of the rear entrance, Chase decided to do a walk by out front to see if he could spot Chance inside. The wood planks of the building looked brand new, and the windows were trimmed with gold. Looking through them, you could see candle chandeliers, elaborate lanterns, and decorative wood carvings. It looked like everything Chase thought he'd find in a town like Copperton. The crowd inside, however, did not. Chase caught a glimpse of a few card games, a busy bar, some cocktail waitresses who looked a little old to still be in the trade, but no Chance Young. Surely if in town, he would have been at one of the card tables. Deciding to go in for a drink, Chase first needed to get Honey and Nessie. He wanted them closer, as this very much seemed like the type of place one might need to make a mad dash from. Turning back towards his companions, he noticed now a young olive-skin-toned child setting up something at the corner of the saloon. The dark-haired boy pulled a smaller wood box out of a larger one. He seemed young for a street vendor, maybe 6 or 7. Chase thought the poor kid probably just needed to get something to eat, as he couldn't have been more than 35 pounds. Setting up shop, the boy used the larger of the 2 boxes as a seat. He then began pulling rags, brushes, and oils out of the smaller.
Shoe shine, get your shoe shine. Hey there, mister, you want a shoe shine?
No, that's all right, kid. Not today.
Chase said, glancing down, trying not to look the boy in his large, dark brown eyes. Chase's shoes definitely needed a good shine, but now was not the time. He should have a better look inside the saloon instead. Turning from the boy, and no sooner than he looked up, there he was, leaving a boarded-up business across the street. A familiar figure, or so it seemed. Ginger beard, dirty blonde hair, poking out a familiar hat. Identifiable strut. It was Chance, all right. But he was hiding in disguise. The hat was pulled real low in the front, and he wore real thick readers, his collar turned up. Clothes appeared all different, too.
He rub another sap of his clothes?
Knowing that he would plainly be made if he attempted any sudden moves now, Chase turned back to the boy.
Hey, on second thought, kid, I'd love a shoe shine.
The boy jumped up.
Right here, sir. Take your seat.
He said, moving around to Chase's awaiting boots. Chase hunched forward and pulled his own hat low, hoping he wouldn't be noticed as well. It worked. Chance walked right into the saloon without a sideways glance.
So, shining, huh? Doesn't seem like there'd be much business for that around here.
I make enough to make my pockets jingle. Helps my ma, you know?
The boy replied as he brushed the dust from Chase's boots.
That's nice, kid. What's your ma's name?
Chase asked, making small talk.
Katsuo.
Tatsuo? That's, unique.
She says it means dragon.
Dragon, huh? Still unique. So how long you lived in Copperton anyways?
You know, my whole life.
And you like it here?
Yeah.
You don't say a whole lot, do you, kid?
I've heard my ma say some things you ain't ever heard. You want to hear?
Sure, kid. What does that mean?
I don't know, but she sure says it a lot. Well, I'm about done here, mister. 1 nickel, please.
The boy pleaded with expectant eyes as he held his hand out.
Uh-huh. 1 nickel. You keep the change.
Chase tossed him a quarter.
Wow, a whole quarter? I ain't made a whole quarter on one shine in a long time. Thanks, mister.
You got it, kid. It's been fun.
Rising, Chase circled the back of the saloon. Figuring the back door would be his best point of ingress, he leaned against the opium shed out back, waiting for his moment. He didn't like the smell of the stuff, and the talk within sounded like gobbly goop. But to each their own, he thought. A drunk sure didn't make much more sense during the thrills of inebriation either. After only a few moments of the stench, a small group left the shed to head inside, and Chase slipped right in with them. Making his way to a corner table, Chase took watch of his prey. There he sat at the poker table.
Dealing?
Watching intently, Chase ordered a drink. Then, taking a lone sip off the top, he poured the rest into his flask. Now wasn't the time to lose temperance. Chance ran a game with 3 other gents playing. They didn't seem to be having much luck.
How many aces he got up his sleeve this time?
Chase wondered. Although he saw no sign of cheating, the players clearly noticed something different. In a huff, all 3 men shot up, nearly upturning the table. One of them shoved the whole pot at Chance, chips flying everywhere. Chance ducked under the table to pick them up as the men stormed out the door.
Well, now's as good a time as any,
Chase said to himself, walking over to the table. When Chance sat back up, Chase was sitting across from him. Furrowing his brow and looking through the glasses, Chance's magnified eyes moved opposite of each other in both directions, trying to focus.
How you gonna act on that?
He heard in a threatening tone. Slowly tilting his head down, Chance looked over the brim of the glasses to observe Chase, freezing for a split second before bolting for the door. Chase immediately darted after him through swinging doors. They rolled, tumbled, and wrestled onto the cobblestone. Finally, rising to their feet, they punched, kicked, and pulled clothes over the others' heads. It was a dirty fight. Being well matched, it stayed a mystery who had the upper hand, until Chance tried to kick Chase in the knee. Instead of making contact, he slipped on the cobblestone and fell to the ground. Atop him now, Chase was found the clear victor, until he heard a familiar voice and the pitter-patter of little feet.
Get off my paw!
Reverberated in his head as he suddenly became 35 pounds heavier.
You get off my paw!
He heard again, this time nearly blowing out his ear, an ear that suddenly had teeth sank into it. Jumping up and letting go of Chance, Chase spun around trying to shake the shoeshine boy off his back. It didn't work. Then, with every spin, he noticed something else. A little Asian lady was moving fast straight toward him. However, on the last turnaround, he no longer saw the lady. Instead, he got a close-up view of her frying pan. When he finally came back into consciousness, Chase had a splitting headache and ringing ears. Wherever he was, it was dark, and his hands were bound. Through the ear ringing, a screaming echoed off the walls. The words were familiar, but it was a woman's voice.
Oh, what is she screaming?
Chase yelled, shaking his head back into a cognizant state. A sheet flung back, and Chase's eyes adjusted to candlelight. Standing there in another part of the room stood Chance.
She asked why I was fighting the ugly man.
No, I didn't.
Another sheet flew back to open up even more of the room.
I said quit drinking, stupid.
Chase was in some type of makeshift living quarters, and the screaming was coming from a small Asian lady in the kitchen.
I wasn't drinking.
If you were not drinking, then why were you fighting?
I was fighting because I was attacked. There's no talking to her right now,
Chance said, pulling up an old wooden chair next to Chase as if expecting pity.
My head. Was that a frying pan?
It was my good fry pan. You have hurt my boy,
Tatsuo remarked aloud while tending to the boy.
I wasn't going to hurt the boy,
Chase said, reaching up to see if his ears stayed intact.
The boy was fine, Tat.
Chance chimed back. Getting in Chance's face, wagging a finger, she let him have it.
Oh no, you don't use that kitsy name with me. Not today. You try again tomorrow.
Spinning, she went back to further check on the boy.
She's a little pistol, huh?
Tatsuo? Yeah. Her name means
Dragon?
How'd you know that?
The boy. You walked right by us going in the saloon.
Damn glasses. They're not mine.
Chase shook his head in confusion.
Who you trying to fool with that get-up anyways?
Well, there's not a lot of people left around here to recognize me. And the ones who do, they don't really meddle. I was just doing my best not to look like my posters.
You keep drinking. I collect the bounty myself.
She, Oriental?
I am Chinese. Why were you two drinking and fighting?
I wasn't drinking, Tat.
I said no pet meme.
Pet. That word struck a chord. Chase's eyes shot around the room, searching for Honey. He was obviously in one of the abandoned shops, a general store maybe. Turning his attention to Chance, he had to ask,
Did you ransom my dog?
Chiming in from the kitchen once more, Tatsuo stared at Chase.
Oh, Dottie very sweet. Sweet like name. I made big feast.
Having heard more rumors about the Orient than just opium, Chase's stomach dropped.
She ate my dog?
He asked in disbelief. The youngs busted out into laughter. Tatsuo pulled the kitchen divider back a little further, and there lay Honey in a bloated food coma.
Eat your dog. Tonight we have horse mount. Made for mighty fun time.
Nessie's still hitched on the street,
Chance replied, barely catching his breath. Chase, embarrassed, reached his bound hands up to rub his aching head. A ferocious knot lingered. Tatsuo made her way to him with a kitchen knife and cut him loose.
You can go. You can stay the night. Then in the morning you go. Doesn't matter to me. So long as tomorrow, you gone.
Pulling the sheet closed, she gave Chase some privacy.
Huh. You got a wife and kids.
Chase muttered through the curtain.
No. Kid.
Chance whispered back. After Tatsuo made her way around, blowing out the candles, things went dark, and Chase laid down on the floor to rest. Dozing off, he heard vague whispers. Apologies, snickers, something about a bear, smooching, giggles, rustling covers. Chase closed his eyes and hoped he was having a bad dream. Then, feeling as if someone was watching him, he peeped open to see the boy.
I'm Jack. Sorry about your here.
It's all right. I probably would have done the same.
Then, clenching a bedroll, Jack laid down next to Chase as if he was a longtime friend and went to sleep. Chase chuckled to himself. It seemed he went looking for a fight and wound up with a little buddy. Despite the low ache starting in his back and the occasional chill of the air, laying on the wooden planks for sleep didn't feel too bad compared to the dirt on the trails.
Well, what do you know? Chance has a family after all. And a sweet kid, too.